Hey, Lionheart. So God has really called me this year to help more women of faith walk fearless. Why? Because the woman who fears God has nothing else to fear, or at least she shouldn't, right? But many of us, we find ourselves trapped in a lot of fear of people, fear of rejection, fear of ideas, fear of society's bullying. And we're wondering why the fruit of our life isn't matching our faith, right? Isn't matching what we say we believe. And so I wanted to create something that really helps you dive into why is that, right? What are some of these typically limiting beliefs? A lot of people call it scarcity mindset, or like I just said, a lot of the fears that keep you from following through and bearing the fruit that God really wants to see manifested in you this year. And I wanted to just really quickly walk you through it before I sent you to the download. It has been very powerful and has helped so many women because not only does it go through knowing your focus, which is where you're really headed, right? So you're not just going along with the flow of life. You're not just being reactive, but you're actually being responsive to where God has placed you right now, and realizing that the circumstances you're in are still meant to produce a certain fruit and a certain skill or testimony or authority in an area that you're going to need for your destination, right? So we know we can't change our destination overnight, but you can change your direction, okay? So this is meant, all these prompts that you're going to find in the freebie below is meant to change your mind immediately. You can make that decision, okay? You can believe God now. You can decide that He is right about me. And I do have a sound mind, and I do have a prosperous purpose and a hope and a future that is unshakable, all right? And so you're going to dive into really getting clear on what is your focus. Then you're going to get clear on the feelings that tend to trip you up every year, right? The enemy probably pushes the same buttons, pulls on the same strings, brings back some of the same old groups of friends to really get us shaken up, or some of the same emergencies or urgencies. It's the same tricks, right? The Bible reminds us that we're not ignorant to His schemes when we pause to look back and see what those schemes were. And so this is where you'll be able to look at, if really I was the enemy, what are some of the ways I'm going to try to trip you up this year? I'm going to attack you in these areas so that you can prepare and plan accordingly, protect them in prayer, take back authority over those areas, and gain God's strength and His grace and His vision for why these areas typically are what you're weak in, because as we know, where we're weak, He wants to be strong for us, all right? His grace is sufficient. And then you'll know your focus, know your feelings, know the fears. Again, very similarly, what are some of these things, the doubts that typically are keeping you from really building on what you say you believe in? And then you want to also get clear on your future. What does the future you that you see God calling you into? Who is she and what is she doing? And what are the support systems that she has now? What are the habits that she already has put in place, right? Because many times we see her and we just are praying and believing that she's just going to magically show up one day, right? But that's not the case. She only shows up when we make that room for her and really become her now. So you'll have to look at what will seemingly be this far off version of yourself and realize, oh, if I'm going to meet her, I'm going to need to set up the same habits as her. I'm going to need to, figure out who will need to support her. Who are the mentors that she's going to need? Who are the type of friends that she's around? What are the type of things that she prioritizes? And decide to make those decisions now, right? And then you're going to turn around and realize that is when you are her now. That is when you've fully been able to walk into the promises that God has for you because you chose to prioritize and really just show up from that perspective and decide, I am her now. God's promise applies right now. So once we get clear on those 5 things, your focus, your feelings, your fears, your future, and the faith that you stand on. Why is it that whatever you are believing is not really showing up in your life? You'll be able to see where they don't match and really realize that there really is another belief there. there is something else that you're really operating from, and something that truth has been either ignored or covered up or neglected. And so you'll be able to bring truth back into those areas, uncover the lies, reject them, rebuke them, and then operate from that new place, right? Because so many times, we'll either say, yes, I believe this, but, this is what I'm feeling and I don't know how to change my feelings. But we can't, because feelings are just a result of thoughts. So thoughts we can change, right? And once we do that, we really learn from these 5 things. We're able to then build out a life from a place of identity, not just information. Because so many of us, we live online, we're scrolling, we're getting all the tips and tricks and strategies and tactics and wondering why we're not implementing, right? Why nothing's changing. And that's because we haven't first renewed our identity. We haven't renewed our mindset and our beliefs to align with what we're praying for, right? Your prayer has to match your perspective, and then your practice will flow from that place to produce the prosperity that God has for you. So I cannot wait. Let this be the year of purpose and believing everything God has said about you. And find the link below to download this powerful, powerful blueprint for breakthrough. All right, I can't wait. Let me know in the comments if any of these even gave you an aha moment already, and you'd love us to go deeper into one of those items. All right, talk soon.